All right, going live in 3, 2, 1. Well, this is TNZ. We're up to episode number 30. We have Tina on this evening. Hi, Tina.
30. Oh my God, we are cruising through these numbers.
Yeah, the big 3-0. Oh,
Yes. Can you believe though? It's been over a year since we started this.
yes, I know. It's like I couldn't. I forgot. I just realized I couldn't remember
Yep.
the exact date, but I knew it was around this time of the last year that we started.
Yep.
So
So thank
one
you
year.
to everyone who's been with us the entire time. Thank you to Zoom for streaming this.
And yeah, and thanks everybody who's been having like you said, participating. We've had different people come on board. Some people from all over the world, so we don't know what they're saying sometimes, but yeah. But
It's the thought that counts.
and before we go too far, I'd like to remind everybody if you'd like to support what we're doing, there's an affiliate link for NordVPN in the description below. I believe, now I could be wrong, but I do believe that the offer is 70% off the regular price, which is pretty decent. The NordVPN I've used is very reliable. Has you can hide your location, you can protect your identity, and several people have told me that you can also, if you like to watch streaming from different parts of the world where you're normally blocked, you should be able to do that as well. So
Yep. That's
if
what
it,
I do.
oh, do you? Oh, okay. What shows do you
hmm
watch?
Big Brother Canada.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. So that's not
Yeah.
available in the United States?
No, no. It's because United States is through CBS. There it's through oh, I forget exactly where it's from, but I have it saved on my hotbar.
Oh, okay.
But they do Canada. Big Brother Canada is very sponsorship oriented. Like they have like sponsored prizes and things like that, which surprisingly Big Brother US doesn't. But that's a whole nother conversation. Point is, NordVPN, and you can watch Big Brother Canada from anywhere, from anywhere.
Okay. Oh, and yeah, and if you decide to purchase the service, that helps support fund what we're doing, and really appreciate that. So, so how's us getting back to us? How are things going in the world of Tina? Anything you'd like to our viewers to know?
Man, so it's been a while. It has been a while. So how long we've been off? 2 weeks
The
or
last episode,
three?
I'll say no, it's been more than that actually.
Mo-
In fact, I think it's actually getting closer to 4 weeks. So,
So I think there were 3 weeks in between. So much has happened in this time period. Zoom and I both got our taxes done on time. Very good. I went to San Francisco. Did I tell you I was going to San Francisco?
no, that was interesting. What happened in San Francisco?
So I my husband and I went to it's called Distant Worlds. It's the Final Fantasy concert. They have a whole like orchestra rendition of all of the game music. And I bought him tickets for his birthday. The show was on Saturday, and the his birthday was on Saturday. So we did that. We flew out to San Francisco on Friday, saw a ton of stuff. Show on Saturday. We flew back yesterday. So it was a very short trip, but it was so jam packed and it was so much fun. And I did not want to leave San Francisco,
Wow.
but it is so expensive. I had to like run away. That's how expensive it was. Like I wanted to stay, but my bank is broken very, very much so. It's so expensive, but it's really, really pretty. It's so nice.
Well, for those watching who are fans of the channel, San Francisco would be the equivalent of a fictional city in Grand Theft Auto called San Fierro. So,
Oh, really? Oh, I
so
might have seen some of the places. What's
yep.
their Gate Bridge equivalent?
Like it's called in San Fierro, it's called the Gant Bridge. So, and,
Oh, the Gant Bridge.
in fact, I saw a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge somewhere, and I looked at it and said, "Oh, that's I know where that is." I said, "That's the Gant Bridge," and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong bridge." But
You're like, let me get back in like this mode.
yes, yes, exactly. Back
That's
in
so funny.
yes. So, how long did you stay there? Would you say?
So 48 hours probably.
Oh, okay.
Not long at all.
So I had heard that California has some as well. Well, I don't know what part of San Francisco you're in, but I mean I've heard that there's some areas where they have like poop pickup, like they have little areas where they pick up the poop for homeless people, and that's one of
Oh
the
god, I didn't see any of that. Oh my
okay.
god. It was a very different, like, on every level than I'm used to the Midwest. There's obviously a lot of poverty in Cleveland, and I feel like there's kind of this level of poverty that we all live at, kind of like we just collectively are in poverty, whereas in San Francisco it's obviously there's so many rich people and so many poor people, and it's just the how they coexist is very different, and it's just strange because Cleveland's pretty gray and San Francisco is very bright, it's very hilly, colorful, sunny, and then all of a sudden you have like garbage spilled all over the sidewalk and somebody digging through it. Like I've it was very different and it was really sad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very different type of like homelessness, and it was really eye opening. And I've always been someone who is an advocate for like taking care of the community and including, you know, helping homeless people get houses and get jobs and do more than just push them to get jobs, more like finding different ways of support than just follow the rules and the structure, like, oh, get a job, you know, because it's obviously not like that. Otherwise people wouldn't be homeless, and they don't, you know, nobody wants to be homeless, nobody wants to be homeless. So it was just so different. And um the city was gorgeous, but it's pretty clear not everyone can afford to live there. And also, our Uber driver was like, I can't afford to leave. Like, I break even here. I can't afford to leave, but I definitely can't thrive here. And it was just so interesting because he's like, I could definitely live better elsewhere, but I love it too much here and it would be really tough to leave. So I kind of am stuck here.
Hmm.
And I was like, well,
I
I
wonder.
would stay.
I wonder if the Uber driver, if he's oh, is it he or she? I don't know, but if they were living off their Uber money to live there, I would assume that maybe it might be a second job because I heard this San Francisco is very very pricey, very expensive to live.
Yeah, it's the number one or the number two most expensive city in the country. It's more expensive than New York City,
Is it really? Well, I
and
didn't know.
it's more expensive than LA too. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it might be the most expensive city to live in.
yeah. I've heard that people who live in the Silicon Valley area, like it's like extremely, it's costs a lot to work in that area, just because unless
Yeah.
you commute very far. So I don't know all the details
Hmm.
hearing about that. Some of the horror stories about the cost of how much it lives, how much is the cost of living. I'm stumbling on my words, but yeah, no, but
It's the cost of living, the cost of eating, the cost of driving, the cost of everything. You know, one of the funniest things about it was their hills are literally like this steep.
oh, yes.
It was it was nuts. Like, I don't know how these cars park at a like a 55-degree angle. Like, it was literally like we drove up hills that were like this steep,
Yeah,
and it was like up and down and up and down, and it was just wild. It was fun. It was a really fun city. I definitely recommend people go, but definitely budget for this because we didn't budget that much. We were kind of like, we'll just go, and we should have budgeted. But it was fun, and I wouldn't regret anything. We did stuff within reason. Stuff we'll never do. You know, we're not going to get another bus tour. You know, that was like $120 for two people. But we saw a bunch of stuff that we wouldn't have seen otherwise, so it was worth it. So,
I wanted to bring something up here real quick. Have you ever heard of the movie Bullet with Steve McQueen,
no.
1978?
No, I haven't.
Well, I've never seen the movie all the way through, but it has one of the most famous car chase scenes in movie history. So, and it took place in San
Hmm.
Francisco. So,
Oh, really?
here we go. I'll bring it up here for you.
You like the movie?
I've never I've only seen the chase scene. I've never that's the chase.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen the entire movie. So Stephen Green's drive. He did most of his own driving in this movie. So that's him in his '68 Mustang Fastback. He's chasing after two guys that are in a black Dodge Charger, '68 Charger, and they go through the streets
Okay.
of real. It was really they really drove through the streets of San Francisco. You talked about those hills and everything. I don't want to play because it's so popular. We'll get a copyright, and so I got to be very
Oh,
careful.
really? Okay.
But you can see some of the scenes here. You can see and there's some scenes where they're going, the hills are so steep as they go over, their cars are going into the air momentarily and coming back down because they go over the edge and they come back down because the hill is so steep. So oops, let's see. Like, here we go. Oops, you can see, well, come right there. Is
That's
that
yes. That's exactly how it is. Where you just basically see a road and it's more like a wall.
there you go, yeah. So,
Well,
but
cool. I'll give that a watch.
yeah, I would. Well, like I said, I've never watched the whole movie. In fact, I think most of the people that know about this just know about the chase scene, and that's it. So
Okay.
it's one of the rest of the movie. I'm not sure what it's about, but it's just it's you can type it on YouTube and you'll find it. So it's like I said, considered one of the best chase scenes of any movie. Um, but
Okay. That's
and
awesome.
since you've been there recently, you might get a kick out of seeing all the different areas. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was fun. It was a really cool place. It was awesome.
Right.
So
So you would recommend so for our viewers, if they want to go to San Francisco, you would definitely recommend it. So
plan a trip. Don't just go in blind. Plan a trip. Plan an actual trip.
okay.
Don't just buy tickets somewhere and then go. That's what we did, and um, I will have to recover from this. It was expensive, but it was so much fun, and it was really, and the downtown's really cool. So
Like a weekend getaway thing, is that what you did?
yes, yeah, excellent public transit as well,
Hmm.
and that's a big deal. You know what I mean? As like a tourist, like if you can navigate a city's public transit that you're not from, that's huge. So you can like take advantage of the things around you, versus having to rely on Ubers, which is what you would have to do if you come to Cleveland. You know, the buses are fine, whatever, but it's just not as good.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, it's a big. So San Francisco, I guess, two big thumbs up from you and your husband. Cool.
Definitely.
All righty. Well, let's take our question out from our last show. We bring it up here.
Yes.
Let's see here. Oh, I just had it. Now I lost it. Give me 1 second. It was would you help would you help a stranger? I think it was.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I
Yeah.
hope a lot of people had opinions on that.
Yeah. It's a decent response. Here it comes right there. There we go.
Good.
There we go. How far would you go to help a stranger, or would you help a stranger in need? And wow, it's 2/3, 67%, as much as I could.
We have some very nice viewers. Oh my god.
Uh-huh. 15%, yes, as long as I'm not in danger or inconvenienced. So that's kind of a yes. So that's actually pretty adding the total up to even more. So let's see, 8% with just a little bit, opening a door, something small. 7% with I don't help people I don't know, and 4% if I did, what's in it for me? So only 4% for that. Uh, Actually, it says 8 comments, but it's actually not that many because we got 3 comments and like several people responded to one of the comments there. So
Mm,
I'm
gotcha.
okay with there. So, not sure what that first one is. Sorry, I don't know the language. Let me see my magnifier up here. It says Oi Boa. Okay, I don't know what that means. Hopefully, it's good. So, let's see over here. The fact that I've seen people say, I'm not sure if it's even the norm to say things like "I would save my dog" over a stranger, just shows how screwed we are as a society and civilization. I think we're ready for another comet strike. In old
Oh
times,
no.
another one. In old times, it would be embarrassing and shameful to not help a stranger in need. and we have less in those times. I hate those questions. I hate when people say, "Who would you save if it was your dog or a stranger?" Because your dog. What if if the stranger happens to be some mass killer and you don't really care? Would you? It's like I'm not saying you should let that be a determining factor. You should help everybody, but still, it's like I always people. It's a common question I've heard: would you save your pet or would you save a person in need? And
Definitely.
it's just one of those annoying things. I hate that question.
It is. It's just a very like they're just people are just trying to put you in a box kind of thing, and it's like it's so much more complicated than that anyway. Of course, if I saw a person that was about to be hit by a train over a dog about to be hit by a train, I'm going to try to save the person. Like, you know what? Because I don't want to watch a human being die. Like, something like that. Or if there's a car accident, am I going to swerve for a human or am I going to swerve for a dog?
Mhm.
I'm not going to hit someone with my car. If I hit a dog or a deer, it's going to be very upsetting. But I don't think a dog will. Like, I don't. I'm not going to go to prison for killing a dog. I'm not going to be charged with killing a human life if I hit a dog. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I
Uh,
agree with you. It's just too, yeah,
Yeah, it was the idea of though you putting out there if you're in a car. I mean, actually, that would be kind of a hard decision to make anyway, because most likely it would happen so fast you probably wouldn't have that. It would be too fast for you to actually decide what you're going to aim for anyway. So
exactly right. It's like I'm driving down there to have to make a quick thing. It's like, I don't know. An indecision is the third option where you just let it go. You just let whatever decide. And then you end up hitting both of them because you're driving in the middle of two people, person and dog. So you hit both of them, one each wheel, and then you're in real trouble.
Mhm. So before we go too far, we got John Hernandez saying hello, hello back, and we got
Hello.
I Feel Coke saying with a big Coke avatar saying I
Oh, I
hello.
love that.
Yes. So, and we have one more comment from his best fan. I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing. He just says it's a difficult question. I'll let everyone else who wants to go in there because that's just way too much. It's a good response. I always like his responses, and I just don't
Oh,
want to go.
good.
I don't want to read through the whole thing for that though. But thanks for leaving the response. But yeah, anyone else that wants to go through that, and read it, that's fine. You can go over there or
Thank you,
comment.
Kiss.
So, alrighty. So, yeah, thanks. Anything else you'd like to add to that question or?
Would I help a stranger in need? I am pretty skeptical, not from a like, what's in it for me level, but I feel like I'm someone who's been taken advantage of in the past. So I don't want to be taken advantage of again. And that's unfortunate for people who do really need help. Um, but I would be very hesitant. I'm more likely to like tell someone to stop doing something than I am to like help someone because I just I don't want to open myself up to something taken advantage of, hurt myself, attacked myself. It's I just have a very protective defensive stance just to protect myself. Nothing against the other person, but it's just I just can't be too sure. If it was something visible like I'm injured, then yes. But if it was like, "Oh, can you help me lift this box into my big dark scary white van and I'm a guy wearing all black and a black ski mask," I'm not gonna do that. But if it's like you have a broken leg, I'm gonna help you.
So
So,
you're,
what about you?
I think, yeah, I think I said something similar when we asked the question before. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're in the bottom one, the last answer there. Yes, as long as
definitely.
not in danger and
Yeah,
not at inconvenience. So you're part of the 15%, I guess. So
yeah,
I guess I'd fall
I
in that
am.
category too. So
Make
alrighty.
it 17.
17%. Each of our votes counts for 1%.
Yep. We
So
gotta we gotta add some weight to that.
alrighty. So we you said you had a question. We discussed it before we went live, but I don't know what it actually is. You said you had two questions, maybe. So
I have a situation, and so I have a question related to our movie, and I have a situation I genuinely want to ask our viewers about and you. So,
Okay.
which would you like to hear first?
Um, the second one.
Okay, so I work at H&R Block, and tax season is obviously very stressful. One of my coworkers hates me. She hates me, and I have no idea why. I've given up figuring out why. I am her supervisor. I am her boss. She's worked there for 22 years, and this is my first year. So obviously, she has a problem with the fact that I've only worked there a few months and I'm her boss.
Oh,
That's
can I ask you?
fine. Yes.
Can I ask
Yeah, go ahead.
you how does that work out? How does she be there for 22 years and not get a supervisor position, but you do?
She don't want to be a supervisor.
Oh,
So
okay,
she's just a tax preparer. She
okay.
doesn't want to be a supervisor because the supervisors don't do taxes.
Ah,
We basically represent H&R Block, and we are there to make sure people are doing their returns, and we do everything we can to help them do that. Because when they do their returns, they make money, but so does H&R Block. So my job is to facilitate as much productivity as I can. That's my job.
okay.
Basically, I'm hired from H&R Block to make people more productive. Um, no one's disputing that she has been there for so long. She should probably retire. She's about 80 years old now. But I digress.
Good.
My question, well, before I get to my question, she has, we have a very childish relationship. We go out of our way to torment each other. She's mean to me, disrespectful. I'm very pedantic. I try, I'll interrupt her because she does these things to me. And also, I don't work for H&R Block until Wednesday. So, H&R Block, you're not going to see this. And by the time you do, I'm going to be quit. I'm going to quit. So, my job's over. Um, so I want to ask the viewers, what is the most effective way to get under someone's skin? What do you think the most effective way is to get under someone's skin? Because everything I've done has, I think some of it's worked, but I just want to know the best way over the next 2 days that I can implement to just have the final say. I'm a very last word type of person. It's bad. It's so Zoom. It is the most ridiculous things I have ever seen. This woman is 70 years old, and she's playing these games with me. I'm not even 30, okay, and she's playing these games with me. I need to figure something out to prove my authority because I am in charge, and I never like wave that authority around. I'm very hands off, so she doesn't have anything to be upset with me about. It's obvious she doesn't like me as a person. I don't really care. I'm her boss and I'm paid to be your boss, but I don't treat it like a boss situation. So I just need to know, what can I do? What can be done? I need the viewers' help. I need your help. And H&R Block, great company. This office, you need to close down. You need to close this office. These
Just because
people,
of her? Just because of her?
she makes, I am not kidding. She is so flawed that this whole office is thrown off balance because of her energy, her negative energy. Half of the building she doesn't get along with. Me and two other people she will not speak to. The other two people she hugs and she's like, "Oh, how are you? How's your day?" And then I walk over and I'm like, "Hey, you have to do this." And she's like, "Yeah, I know." And I'm like, "You were just hugging someone. Why are you biting my head off?" And I'm a pretty easygoing person, but I'm also a Scorpio. So in this capacity, I am very, I've never told someone off at work. I've never been in a work fight. I've never done anything that has not got me a reference intentionally. I mean, I've burned bridges in other ways that people probably wouldn't give me a good reference, but nothing that I went out of my way to do where it was like, "Tina, you made a big mistake and now I can't give you a good reference." I've never done that. I'm not going to do this for an 80-year-old woman to ruin my chance at a reference with my boss. So I need to figure out something to get this off me so I don't have to do that, because unless I have a way to get the last laugh, get the final blow, I'm going to lose a reference at a good job that gives me a good reference. What do
Right.
I do? Help me, everyone.
I
I like H&R Block. The company's great. It's actually a really good company. This office and this woman have ruined my life for the past 2 months. I've never been more stressed out in my life. I've never been treated so poorly by one person. It's
wow.
never happened to me. I know. And I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter, but I've met my match and she's 80 years old.
So
What do I
the
do? What do I
I,
do?
well, let's pose the question. I guess then we can see what maybe we'll get some responses for that. We'll get something by tonight, maybe.
I would
I,
say Tina's coworker is ruining her life.
well, should we make it?
What?
But wouldn't it be
What?
more if it's more broader? I get more or not so specific. I guess. Right?
Please help her. And like all caps, no. How about if you're having issues with your coworker,
Yeah.
we could go two directions. We could do one, what's the best way to get under their skin? Or two, what's the best way to get through the rest of the year with them?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
One's how to make it worse, and one's how to find peace inside internally.
And what was the second one?
Um, how do you get through the rest of the year with them?
Oh, okay. How do you, oh, let's see. How do you get,
It's just so sad
oh,
because
you just,
what were you
I say,
nothing.
how about, how do you get along, try to get along with them, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay. Of course, well, this is a poll, so we have to come up with some answers too. So,
Yes, I
I
would
would,
say,
I would say maybe ignore them.
yeah, okay, ignore them.
Okay.
That's a good one for like, how do you get along with them? Just ignore them. But also, how do you get under their skin?
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say more for how do you,
That could go both ways. That could go both ways.
if you're angry at them, you just ignore them and then don't let them know. You don't give them any response. It can drive them crazy sometimes.
Exactly. I would say, um, everything that I've tried isn't working. So any of the responses I have are not going to be effective. It's just so crazy because I've never met someone like this before. I would say best way to get under someone's skin. Um, I would say like overload them with work, like give them a lot of work or make their work difficult.
Them, or make their work difficult. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah. Because as H&R Block, I can choose who gets to do what tax return.
Wow, that's interesting.
Well, it hasn't proved effective yet because everyone that I've done, she's finished them, and I'm trying.
She,
I'm almost using people as pawns, and I'm so sorry for those people. But the good news is that she's finished all your returns. So you even been a pawn? No.
is she good with her job? Is she a good? Is she?
She's great at her job,
Hmm.
but she just got chewed out by a customer very, very, very badly. Actually, she got chewed out by two people today. One guy owes a lot of money to the IRS, and for client confidentiality reasons, I'm not going to say how much, but this is a good portion of someone's annual income to the IRS. And he said some very profanity laced things. And he came to me and was like, I got to get away from this woman. Like, get away from me. Just get away from me. And I don't want to talk. Like, I can't talk to you. Like, get out of my face. Like, to her. And I was just like, it was bad. But
Why was he angry at
client
her
confidentiality,
then? But she thinks she did the tax return wrong?
because, well, okay. So when you owe, we're talking 5 digits here,
Mhm.
almost 6 digits.
Mm.
Um,
It's a lot. It's
and
a
someone just
large
says, okay, it's not almost six, but it's up there. More, definitely more than I make a year in my life.
amount.
So when someone has a problem and they say, okay, but I don't, because he didn't understand. So he's like, she's like, you owe this much money. And he's like, I don't understand. Please explain it to me because this is shocking and I don't understand. And she just points at the numbers and keeps saying, because I did the math and this is what you owe. And he's like, but you're not telling me why. Like, how did we get to this number? She's like, I added all the numbers and this is what you owe. And he's like, that is not a good enough answer. It's infuriating. And get away from me. I never want to see you again in my life. And then he comes to me, the manager of the store, and is like, you need to get me as far away from this woman as possible. How am I going to pay the IRS all this money? And I said, let me help you and we'll figure it out. And then someone else was so kind to come over and be like, sir, she did not give you a good answer. I'm going to break it down for you and show you what she wasn't telling you. And now you have a good understanding.
Mm.
And he left and he's like, thank you so much. I feel so. He's like, yeah, I owe a lot to IRS, but I feel so much better because of you, Tina, and you, other tax preparer, and not her. And he's like, no, I never want to see her again. And it was just really satisfying. But
Is he
maybe
like a
that,
business? Is he like a business?
no, no, he's just a regular guy. He's just married with his wife.
And he's
And I
married.
have no idea.
He was that much money? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. So, but how do you work a full time job for a year and only put away very, very, very little? Like,
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
he did not put away enough money, and that's why. That's
I know.
part of it, I guess. But
I know when I do my taxes, I do the quarterly payments, and I try to balance it out so I don't. But if he's got a job, they usually do. The businesses usually do that for you. So there's
and this one didn't, and he had no idea. So, okay. So I guess other one would be give them difficult customers.
okay.
I like that one.
Okay.
I would say other one, try to make peace. Try
Oh,
to
okay.
make peace.
Good one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Try to make peace. And now, do we have a max of 5 answers?
5, yes. So, I guess
I
your
would say the next one is just report them to your higher ups. And that could go for either one as well.
okay. Did you want to give them a choice though? Like the person, like they give their own choice, like they can leave their own.
Oh yeah, yeah. How about that? Leave a comment.
Okay.
Something else / leave a comment.
Okay.
Because I am at my wit's end. I'm about to break this woman's legs. That's where I'm at right now. And obviously that's not a real threat because I can't break somebody's legs. Don't report me to my job. I'm not going to break this woman's legs. Actually, she's old. Okay, she'll break them on her own just by living the rest of her life with osteoporosis.
Now you're wishing her to have diseases now.
I am not going to comment on that. I'm not going to comment on that. But I don't want to be a negative person though. But it's just like I have done everything in my ability. Like, I do not like conflict. I may talk big game and act like that, but I really am not a conflict person because I have a job to do. I want to, I'm the path of least conflict type of person. I'll bite the bullet if it means like everything's gonna go okay. But my teeth are busted from biting these bullets. I'm done. I don't have teeth anymore. This is the bull getting the horns. So
Right.
that's
Okay.
all I got.
So the and was the I guess I was trying to think. I guess there's nothing else we can really say about her. I guess. So
No, there's nothing. It's just I've already been hate. This has been hate filled enough. But thank you for listening to me talk about my coworker. This is the only time. I usually don't have coworker problems. This is the first time I've actually had a serious coworker problem. And it is terrible. I never would wish something like this on people. I'm miserable. I'm glad this is only a temporary job.
what are you gonna do it next year too?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
They
okay.
couldn't pay me enough.
So
They trying to pay me $10 to do this job. I said, there's no way. You need to pay me more than $10 an hour.
$10 an hour, really? That's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. For a manager position, they're like, well, how much do you want? And I told them, and they're like, okay. And I was just like, you guys are going to seriously pay me $10 an hour. And this is the last thing I'll say about this whole situation. My boss had my job last year, and she said to me, I used to hate my life going into work every day, doing your job. That's what she told me. So, how does she expect me to not hate my life too? Crazy. Why would you tell someone that? When I was you, I hated my life. And now you are me. And she hired me for this job. Like, why did you put me in this position? I thought you liked me. Why would you hire me for this?
I was. How long is how long have you known this person? You just met them now?
Beginning of January or
Where'd you have?
mid January.
Right. Okay. So it wasn't like a friend or something that you knew for a while.
No, but I mean, she got to know me. The least she could have done is put me somewhere where I wouldn't be miserable.
Yeah. I just. Yeah. Anybody had that position, she's probably gonna say the same thing. So.
I was unlucky. I was the unlucky winner here, the victim of circumstance.
So well, before we go too far, we did a couple more. I'm not sure what la 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 stuff says. JD does stuff. Link. I'm not sure what that means. So and then hello Tanaz or Tans Rez. So thank you. Well, there. So I wanted to make sure we got those in
Thank you
there.
all for bearing with me. Okay, I'm done. We all
So
had that bad coworker, so
so does that look good? If you're having, I proofread while you were talking there. So I just
yes, it does look good.
okay.
But come this time next week, I won't have any stories like that to tell. This has
Uh,
been building up over 2 months, so it's over on Wednesday.
so you may have some stories then, since we have 2 more days to go. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a little. Who knows?
There better not be any stories like this, otherwise my head's gonna explode.
So
My head's gonna pop off like a. It's gonna go like that.
so did you say you had another question you want to ask as well? Maybe.
This relates to the movie, so maybe we can ask this at the end. Just so we don't go back to back questions. I'd like to talk a little bit about the movie, and then we can see where we're at if we got time to ask another question.
Okay. Sure.
How's that?
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So all right. So the
I'm really
movie.
excited about this movie.
So yeah, the movie is the 12 Monkeys, and so for those who are wondering, I didn't know how to if I should make it. It's not a big deal, but I didn't know if I should do the number 12 in the title or spelled out as spell the word out 12 TWELVE. So I since the movie says 12 monkeys, I did it that way. It's listed both ways on the internet, so I just
Yeah,
went
it
ahead.
is.
So it's like I said, it's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, so this is the 1995 Terry Gilliam movie. We saw what was the other one we saw? We saw two of them: Time Bandits and Baron Munchausen.
This is a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yes, yes, yes. You
You know
didn't know that?
what? No, I didn't. And now that you say that, though, it's very it makes sense in a way I can't explain. Not that it's like, oh, it should be obvious, but it like there's certain like set design and um, characters and interactions and things like that that really stand out, and I can see kind of a artistic connection.
Hmm.
Now that you
I-
say that, that's interesting. Well, cool.
Yeah, as Terry Gilliam's movies went along, they got less. Sometimes the comedy was the less Monty Pythonish kind of style, and it just got more and more serious, I guess, as it went along. You could say. So this one does definitely has more of a serious tone to it. So then there's a
Yeah.
one of the other movies he came out around the same time was oh, I forget what it was, but it had another dark tone to it. Hold on, let me bring it up here on my other screen. Uh, it's uh, hold on. Oh, no. Um, sorry, I can't remember what it's called. It had Robin Williams in it and Jeff Bridges, and it was another kind of dark one as well. So I can't remember, but that was dealing. I can't remember what it's called. Darn it! Let's see if on my list. So, but anyway, let's get back to our movie here. Sorry, if I'll remember it. Once I remember it, I'll say what it was. So, this movie is now, when did you see this movie for the was this this was not a first time viewing for you, was that correct?
No, I probably saw this movie in junior high for the first time. It would have just been honestly kind of random. I don't think anyone in my family has seen this movie that we like sat down and watched it together. I was exposed to a lot of like older movie, not older as in older the time, not older time. I feel like this is definitely like an adult, mature movie. Um, you know what I mean? It's just not something a junior high kid would stumble upon, but I guess I did somehow. It was probably on TV,
Hmm.
um, and I found it that way.
The I first saw this in when it was in the theaters when it was brand new. So
Oh,
I
really? That's cool.
yeah. The one thing about this, people say this is a little confusing. Like there's like they don't can't figure out what's going on. I don't really. I never found it confusing in the slightest that I remember. Did you find it confusing at all?
No,
I've watched a few different people give reviews and they say, "Oh, I was confused about how this is going," and it's like as the movie goes along, it just makes sense. If you know it's a time travel movie, you just follow along, and it just it's just things are just being shown essentially out of sequence in some ways, kind of if you look at it in that way.
it's a pretty clear line of what's going on. I'm really surprised that two people said that. This is a pretty. I feel like it's pretty cut and dry
Yeah,
with the timeline.
yeah. So the basic plot of the movie is we have it's a basically a never ending loop of sorts. We have uh, uh, Bruce Willis's character constantly having this dream about him about seeing a man and a woman in an airport, and the man gets shot. And as time goes on, we gradually learn more about Bruce Willis. That he's in a future where there's been a huge disease that wiped out a large percentage of the population, and the as far as the Brad Pitt's character in this character, he's kind of the zany. He's the son of the the business the guy who owns the business, who's played by Christopher Plummer. And the in the movie, is it Brad Pitt that actually kind of initiates the whole? I know he's the one that creates the term the 12 monkeys, but is it Brad Pitt that actually decides that humanity should maybe it might be a good idea for humanity to come to an end, so that the guy with the long hair and hair at the end, kind of like he inspires him to actually start that? Is that how you viewed the movie? Is that, am I seeing that right?
That's how I interpreted it because it's just some guy with like an ideology or like a plan, like a broad plan, and then people, these other 12 monkeys or disciples kind of is how I even looked at it, where you have somebody that's kind of the head of this with a message they're trying to get out to people, and then followers who, support it. And later in the movie you see Brad Pitt with these other people, these other radical people, and they are like, we don't know who the guy is, like we just believe what he says, or we just do whatever. So he's kind of like his it's not a religious movie and it doesn't really have any religious parallel, but how Jesus had like followers, it's kind of like that in my opinion. So then this guy, inspired by that idea and those messages, even though I don't think he was necessarily one of the 12 monkeys, just went off and did his own thing because he could actually do something about it. He took action, is how I
Right.
interpreted it.
So basically, the loop, it's a never ending loop of sorts because Bruce Willis put the idea into Brad Pitt's head about the whole thing, and then Brad Pitt told the guy, and then that guy caused the problem, which causes Bruce Willis to have to come back in time. So it starts all over again.
Yeah.
So it's a repeating loop that just keeps on going on and on, so to speak. So, and it's because there's no real beginning, so to speak, either. It's just Bruce Willis brought it back in time with him, who inspired Brad Pitt and inspired the other guy, who then causes the whole problem, and then it just, see what I'm saying? It just goes over and over and over again. That's
Mm-hmm.
something when I saw that I never actually picked that up the first time. So, which is funny. I usually catch on to that kind of stuff, but I did not. So, and the whole never-ending loop aspect. Oh, I'm trying to find that guy that we're talking about. He's the whole premise is that in the future they're trying to go back in time because they know nothing can be changed. It's just the way it is. They have to accept that. They just want to go back in time to find the actual disease so they can bring it back to the future to help find a cure. That's what they want to do. They want to find, because they don't know what started the disease. So because of that, they can't cure it. And it's still very prevalent. What's the word? I guess prevalent, is that the right word? It's very active in the future. So they just want to find the disease in the past, bring it to the future so they can create a cure so people can get back to normal. So they can stop living underground, because everybody who survived the disease has to live underground. You have to go through, like at the beginning, you saw Bruce Willis being washed down severely because and wearing the bodysuit. As that protects everyone from getting the disease, who's, like I said, confined to the underground. And apparently all their life on the planet is immune to this. At least that's what's implied. So that's the whole basic plot of the movie, right? Am I getting it right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah. And so Bruce Willis, he's just caught up in this. He doesn't really seem to care. He just has a mission that he needs to accomplish. And he's told if he does this, he'll get a pardon. But they never say, like, and when he's called to do his to go back in time, they refer to as being a volunteer. So, which is kind of funny because he's actually not volunteering; he's being forced to go into this.
Don't you love when you're being forced or you're being pointed at and say, you must volunteer?
Yeah, yeah. And what was the other part of that? The pardon. They never explain what the pardon is. Why he's is he a criminal? Is he being pardoned because everybody underground is just simply forced to into service, and once you achieve that service, then you're pardoned from performing the service anymore? I don't know. They don't really say what that is. So, but so he's just caught up in this. You can tell he doesn't really seem to care. He's not trying to instigate anything. He's not trying to help anything. He's just there to follow the rules, get his job done, and get it over with. So,
Mm-hmm.
and he's afflicted by the constant dream in his head about the airport. As the movie goes along, we gradually learn that he is obviously giving away the end of the movie. He is that person that he sees in his dream, and that the woman who plays the psychologist. What's her name?
I don't remember her name, but I just, in like true Bruce Willis movie fashion, she's like the woman she is like Munchausen's, like, I fall in love with my captor. Like, I can fix you. I love you. Like, you're the patient and I'm the psychiatrist. Like, I can fix you, type of thing. And I'm just like, does Bruce Willis have to be the heart, the love of every woman he's in a movie with? Yes. It's just so funny.
Uh-huh. And as the movie does go along, he does kidnap her. But then that's, like you said, it's like she falls in love with him as the story goes along. And they never say what happens to her at the end. But the whole plot of the movie, I'm not sorry, not the plot of the movie, but his mission is basically he has to find the 12 monkeys because they all believe that that's the cause of the disease. But it turns out as the movie progresses, no, it's not. The 12 monkeys is indirectly related to it because it inspired the guy who actually did it, but he's not actually, but it's actually not the 12 monkeys themselves, which is a group of radical young people who just want to free animals and let them live in the wild. They live them, or not in the wild, but live them free without being in cages, I should say. So, and
Yeah.
that's has nothing directly, that has nothing to do directly with the disease. But the and says the he, as Bruce Willis learns this as the movie goes along, he realizes that it is in fact they're going after the wrong thing, and because in the future they can, all they have to do is just leave a phone, call a phone number, and leave a message. They can put the phone message back together, and he can talk to them into the future. They can't talk to him in the past, but he can talk to them into the future by leaving phone messages on a
Hmm.
specific phone number. So, and because it takes place, because the message is uh, deciphered in the future, he can leave it and they can instantly come back in time because at one point he leaves a message closer to the end that he's giving up or something. I forget how he put it. He was gonna they were going after the wrong thing and he was just wanted to be left alone because he pulled it because supposedly they were monitoring his location with his tooth or teeth. So he pulled the teeth out so they couldn't pinpoint his location. And he left a message saying, I'm not gonna do it. And then they sent another person back in time to get him and the that guy was like, "Why did you do that? You know, you had it, you got everything figured out, and you had a pardon, and you just blew it by saying that." He just Bruce Willis just wants to be left alone. So
Which I thought was a really cool like part of the movie and the time travel loop idea, and I think it holds up. I think it's sound in the idea of like a time travel loop like that. They would be able to immediately just send him,
right,
the other guy, and be like, "Bam, you had it all." You know what I mean? So I thought that was really cool, and strong, and that really just like bolstered the time travel stuff. Like really, wow, I was like, "Wow, this is awesome."
and when they travel back in time, it's not perfect because when he goes back in time, one of the times he goes back to World War I, and he gets shot, and his other buddy that was there, he also gets shot. I forget the guy's name. Um, he also gets shot or injured or something. I don't remember exactly. And so because of that, the psychiatrist who falls in love with Bruce Willis's character, she finds they pull the bullet out and they say, "Oh, this is an antique," and then she pulls out the book and she finds Bruce Willis's face in an old photo from World War I. And that's when she starts realizing that all along she thought he was just having a delusion, that she was just making this stuff up, and then she realizes, oh, it's real. And so they decide what were they going to do. They just wanted to get away, right at the very end.
Yeah, I think so, and I think the only one of the only places they could go is the airport, and I think Bruce Willis partially did want to finish off his mission, but I think also he did give up and everything, but I think he was just such a mental mess that he was just in this position, and literally fate brought him back even no matter what. I feel like it was something out of his control. Even if he did want to, that's just what happened. You know what I mean? That happened whether so I think this too. Like in a past visit of his when he was at the airport, was he trying to the first time he died, was he trying to um, get the cure or get the like virus so that way he could take it back? And then the second time he was giving up, but he still had to die at that point in time. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Like even if first time he does what he's supposed to do, second time he goes back, he was destined to die there because he had died there in the past. So no matter what he would have done or said, he would have been brought to that exact point and die that exact way. What do you think about that? No.
Oh, it's yeah, no, it's good, it's good. I just but the movie was when I realized what was going on, it was like since you can't, there's everything is pretty much set in stone. There's nothing that's that's as the pieces work together, you kind of figure it out that that's going to be him that dies at the end. If I remember correctly, when I saw it the first time, and I
Yeah.
kind of figured out. So I was like, well, yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't. I didn't find the story as compelling as maybe some other people did. Do you find it compelling overall?
I wouldn't say compelling. Well, I guess. I don't know, because the more I think about it, even while we're talking it through, I feel like in today's world, there are a lot of people who are inspired by ridiculous things, like ridiculous sayings, groups. There's a lot of like fringe cult type of things that happen. Um, and I don't think it's totally abnormal today to have people that do crazy stuff. I mean, we have shooters, not always kid shooter, not always like school shooters, but we have people that shoot other people for very bizarre reasons. Some of them totally internal, where it's like, I wanted to do this, and other people who are motivated by something someone said. It could be something, like how the 12 Monkeys had a radical message, and someone else was like, you know what, I'm going to build on that idea and take it a whole nother direction and do my own way. And I feel like that is relevant to today. Um, I think that is like worth a discuss, worth noting. Um, there's a lot of radical people in the world like this, I feel like, but not many ever make it as far as being able to actually, excuse me, like actually being able to set out and accomplish something on a large scale like they did. So I think that's just worth noting. I don't know if it's like profound or anything that's like unbelievable, you know what I mean? But I think that's relevant to today.
Hmm.
But is it anything more than that? No, I think it does a time travel very well. I think it's a really well done time travel movie,
Oh
and I
yeah,
feel like a lot of movies screw that up sometimes. But I think everything that with time travel in this movie holds up.
the this is the scene right here that you were talking about with the shooting before, right?
Yeah.
So basically, he's going after the guy that's going to spread the disease throughout the world. So, and he's trying to stop. He's the and so basically, he's going to try to stop him, or at the very least, try maybe not stop him, but at least try to get the disease from him, or so he can send it back to the future, so they can analyze it correctly. I guess is the best way to put it. So, and there was one thing I didn't even catch this. So I was watching someone else review the movie, and I'm surprised I didn't catch this. After this all takes place, at the very end, the guy who has the disease, he's sitting on the plane here, and if you watch carefully, the woman that's sitting next to him is from the future. So the idea is that somehow they did get the message to the future. She simply came back in time to get the disease from him, so she could take it back to the future with her. That's the idea.
Oh, I didn't make that okay, because I do remember seeing that, but I didn't make that connection
Yeah,
that
that's
that's
one.
why she was there.
That that's my guess. That's what they guess, and it seems to make sense.
That
That
does make sense.
because she's the one that sent. Yeah, she's one of the people that were like sending him back in the future to the past. I mean,
Mhm.
so they
Wow.
so now she's. It looks like they figured out who he is, and now they can finally you. The idea is that maybe now they can find a cure. I assume because they finally located where it came from. I guess.
Yeah. That's awesome. That makes the movie even better.
So, and the guy, this is the guy who's spreading the disease because he's under the influence of the 12 monkeys that human beings have overpopulated the planet, and he thinks that by ridding the world of human beings, or at least bringing it down to a moderate level, that it would be a better place for the rest of the world because the human beings are destroying the entire planet, I guess, in that regard. So,
Do you feel that way, that human beings are need to be destroyed?
I don't know about this being destroyed. I think that human beings are part of the earth. I mean, if you quote Carl Sagan, you could paraphrase what he said. You could say human beings are the earth recognizing itself because we are made of the earth. So his statement was we're the universe recognizing itself because we're made of star stuff, as he put it. So we're in a sense we're the earth recognizing itself because we're made of earth stuff. So
I like
we're,
that.
we're part of the earth. So destroying humanity is just destroying the earth in a sense. So we just need to learn how to learn to get to live together peacefully with the rest of the life on the planet, not destroy and wipe it out in a sense. That would be my way of saying things. So
Oh, I like that. That's really well put.
the this is and then this is the final scene. We can find that like you said, he's chasing out of the we finally learned that the dream all along was in fact the two him and the psychiatrist, I forget her name, the he's now realizing. Well, he didn't realize anything. Actually, he never seems to realize anything in this whole thing. He's just caught up in the whole thing, essentially. Um,
I think so.
but she does. She realizes what happens, and she looks up and she sees the young Bruce Willis character, whoever the little kid. She sees him as a kid right here, and she makes
Yeah, she's
she
like,
real,
no.
yeah she realizes what's going on. There she is. So she sees the young kid. So she sees that the whole thing is just starting all over again. The loop is basically started again. So
Yeah, what a cute kid. What a cute kid.
yeah. And so that's young. Oh, Cole is his name. Cole was, I forgot the kid's name. I'm looking at the list on my other screen here. Bruce Willis's character was James Cole, so this was young James Cole. So,
Mm.
and so she sees that, and that's the last we see of her. So we assume that she dies too. We don't know. We don't know what happens to her. Maybe she survives the disease. Maybe she doesn't. But we now get an idea that the whole thing is just put back into motion, and that's it. That's about it. Um, Anything else you'd like to add about the plot that I may have missed? I mean, Brad Pitt's character is pretty psychotic in a way, or at least crazy. He has like an eye that's not pointing in the right direction. It looks like.
I love it. I think his like eyes are so cool with the
Yeah.
contacts, however they did that.
Yeah.
Um it's perfect type of person to start to have enough confidence and like charisma, even though with the wacky eye, to be able to convince people of a crazy idea and attract people to follow him. I thought it was a really effective person and character and portrayal to do all of that.
Yeah. And I thought Brad Pitt's character was done was perfect. But he did a great job on that. I think this is the first movie I ever saw Brad Pitt in. I might be wrong, but so.
I thought it was great. I thought he did very well.
Yep. Um, the I think. Oh, right here you can see the imagery right here. This is definitely like a Terry Gilliam style right here, with the imagery. When you like here, you can see
This
it.
is right here. That's exactly when you said that. When you said it's Terry Gilliam, I thought of this right here immediately.
Yeah,
That's what I thought of is that the eye, and then also
there it is.
all of the faces as he's going to go back in a second time. They had the row of scientists, and that really struck me too as like this is a very creative presentation of this. Like I this right here when you said that I was like I know what he means. I know, yeah, I could recognize it. It's cool. I definitely cinematically I really like this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree. I just felt I like the movie. I just didn't feel it. It seemed to be lacking in some way. I just can't. Even though I've seen it, I've probably seen it like a few times. Once when it came out, once to review for this, and maybe at least one or two other times. It just seems to be lacking in somewhere. I just can't quite figure it out. It's a good movie, but it seems to be lacking something. I just can't figure out what it is. So
Yeah.
I do like it though. I do like it. It's maybe because I was able to figure out what's going on, and I kind of figured as it was going, and it just didn't seem it wasn't really a surprise ending for me or something. I mean, maybe it just seems so. I don't know. It just everything.
Predictable.
Yeah, for me, it did seem a little predictable. Yeah. So and but it was good. It was good. It's good. I just can't say it's like a super movie or superb movie or anything else. Some people are saying it's like the best movie, one of the best movies they've seen. I just don't feel that, but it's a good movie overall. So how would you say? What would you say?
I definitely agree. I think it's a fine movie. I think it's better than a lot of movies, but not spectacular or outstanding or something that is like, whoa, my life has changed. I need to see this again. Um, but I thought it was good. My rating, five being an average movie, I'd put this at like a 6.8.
Okay. Okay. And before we go too far, I just want to say Desmond Haas play 3.0 is back and saying hello. Hello, Desmond Haas. Make sure we got it in there. So yeah, I'd probably go with about a 7 out of 10 on this. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to
But
think
I
of
liked it. I definitely think cinematically, like it's definitely like artistic. Like it's not just a camera following people. You know what I mean? Like it's an actual well thought out, creative movie like that. And it does do time travel well, which people, it's not always done well.
right.
And I think everything holds up here. Like that's the biggest thing. Does it hold up actually? Yes, it does. I think it does.
Yeah. Well, the time travel, it's something I think about sometimes. Is when you have time travel, there are three kinds of time travel movies, essentially, maybe more, but basically you have movies like this where you cannot alter time at all. Things are just they're there and they're set in stone, so to speak. You're just seeing everything that fulfilled. And then there's movies where you can alter the time, like Back to the Future, where you go back and you do something that's going to alter the past. So
Yeah.
those movies can be very tricky to do because then you have once you change something, it's like how do you work it in properly so the story still works well. So but this one where it is, and the third kind of movie is one where time travel doesn't really mean anything. So like it doesn't affect anything at all. It's not, I guess the best example would be like Time Bandits, the movie we saw. It's not, it's the time travel is just there for fun. You're just there for a ride, so to speak. It's not whether or not,
Yeah.
it's not, you're not worrying about changing anything or not changing anything. It's just there for the story to exist, so to speak. Um, the only other movie I can think of that would be similar to that would be the 1960 movie The Time Machine, which is based on the book The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, which is kind of the same thing.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
but yeah, and this one takes the, like you said, yeah, it does time travel, that aspect of it very, very well. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was very done extremely well in that. I love how it has the twist, how if he hadn't gone back in time to do this, Bruce Willis hadn't gone back in time, that none of this would have happened. But obviously he did, and he's basically kind of like the instigator for starting the whole thing. To give, it's just one of those weird, whoa. So he created the problem, but no, he didn't. But he did, but he didn't, kind of a thing. Go back and forth. It's kind of this weird psychological. But I thought that was done very well. So
Yeah.
another movie that does that pretty well is the original Terminator movie, not the ones that came after, just the original Terminator movie. Have you seen the original Terminator movie?
Oh, it's been so long, but I have seen it. Yes.
Okay, and that movie did the same thing. It was I just want to emphasize that only the first movie, not the movies that's followed, because the movies that came out after it implied that you could alter time, whereas the first one you could not. So just like this one, it was like
Mm,
a predestined thing. At the beautiful thing about that movie is that it's a love story, but at the very end, there's during the middle of the movie, there's a scene where the guy who goes back in time, his name is Reese. He has a picture of Sarah Connor, who's the woman he's trying to save. And during the movie, he's saying he was always wondering what she was thinking when that picture was taken. And at the very end of the movie, it turns out she was thinking of him when the picture was taken, because you can see the picture being taken.
mm,
So it has that nice loop kind of effect like this movie does. So,
yeah.
but I was think that
Awesome. Yeah.
I was think this movie and that movie are definitely great ways of demonstrating time travel, in my opinion. I just want to bring that because I think about this movie and that movie whenever I think about that. So, alrighty.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Anything else you'd
Yeah.
like to add to this?
The only thing I want to add is that Bruce Willis was recently diagnosed,
Oh, yeah.
or like public came out with him having Aphasia, the like degenerative like memory loss. I don't know if it's a cancer or if it's just like a disease. Um, really sad, very very sad. He's obviously very talented, and it's just it's just a really sad way for someone so like legendary to like go out. You know what it's just tough when it's you see someone just kind of crumble in a certain way, and it's just it made me really sad to hear that. So I wasn't sure if you saw that, but my
Yes,
heart goes out to him.
I'm glad you brought that because I thought about that too when I was watching the movie. Because when I was watching this, that news had pretty much just come out about that. So, yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't sound very good. I remember when I first time I saw Bruce Willis was back on the TV show Moonlighting back in the '80s. I don't know if you ever saw that. Have you ever seen that
I've
TV
heard
show?
of it.
He plays a completely different character. He's not a tough guy. He's not a macho guy. He's just a fun guy.
What? No, that doesn't exist. Bruce Willis only is a macho guy. Whatever
Well,
you're referencing must be someone else.
and when the movie Die Hard came out, that changed. That's what changed him to being the tough action hero guy. So,
So they're
and,
like, we need this guy in every action movie.
yeah. And so for me, it was like I still think of him as the that guy from Moonlighting. So,
Oh, that's so sweet.
alrighty. Yeah, I guess if anyone else wants to add anything about the movie, feel free to leave a comment. We'll try to go back, and if there's anyone that says anything, we can always bring it up on the next show. Um, did you want to talk about what we could do for our next show? I do have a suggestion if you'd like to.
Okay, we can give a teaser for it here, or we can just go behind the curtain and
Yeah,
reveal.
the movie I was going to suggest because I was watching this. I did not mention this yet. Is called Somewhere in Time, and I don't want to give anything else
Okay.
away. Somewhere in Time. It
Oh,
came out in 1980.
I've never heard of this movie.
Okay. I won't give anything else away to in it, but um, the we can do that, and yeah, like I said, I don't want to give anything away. I just want to since if you've never heard of it, it might be yeah, well, we can go through it, and that way it'll be completely fresh when you look at it for the first time. So
I'm excited.
yeah, and I will. I'm pretty sure it's like a 1980. So those who want to like watch it, if you want to talk to us about it, you can look it up yourself and watch it too before we do the show. If you haven't heard, not too many people have heard of it, but it does have a nice cult following of people that like it. So, alrighty, let's check our question. Go back to that. Oh, did you have what was the other question you were thinking about asking?
We discussed it, so I don't need to mention it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. I'm sorry, Zoom, for clicks. This is not going to get a lot of traction, I'm sure,
Okay.
but I sincerely need advice
Okay. What's that?
from the people to tell me what to do to get under this person's skin.
Oh. Okay. You're going back to your questions. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm literally like at my wits end.
Okay, so we got 50 responses so far. 60% with ignore them. Oh, that's pretty interesting. 22% with give them a lot of work or make their work more difficult. 14% was try to make peace with them. And we got a tie at the end. 2% with give them difficult customers, and something else. So leave a comment. So, and we do have one response so far. I don't know the name there. I can't read the name. It says peace is always an option. So, but what do you think so
We
far?
have such nice viewers. You are all so nice. And for that, I am very appreciative. But in a situation where I want chaos, I'm not looking for nice. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's good to have people center me back into the real world, whereas peace is an option. Just ignore them, deal with it. I have 2 days left. I have 2 work days, so I can get through with it. I can get through it.
Oh yeah, well if you've gotten through it for the past couple months, is that how
Yes.
long you've been there since what? January or February? So
Yep.
Now, is this person to give our viewers a more of background? Has she been with you the entire time? I mean, did she come in later on, or how did that work
I
exactly?
came in later on. I came on in the middle of the season. She's been with H&R Block for 22 years. I started in February. So I get why she doesn't like me. But just because I started late, that's no reason to dislike someone or disrespect them.
Right. Right. No, I agree.
So,
She's not the way you're describing. She is not treating you with any kind of respect. And for me, I just have a hardened skin, so I just basically over the years. When I was younger, I probably would take it more personally, but as I've gotten older, I probably just been. That's why I say ignore them. I would just get to a phase where I just be like, yeah.
I'm
But
not there yet. I'm not there yet.
but the problem is you're in a supervisor position too, so you're in a manager position, so you can't really ignore them, unfortunately. So
Yeah, when no one respects you as you're the boss, yeah, it feels terrible. It's okay. It's only temporary. And I didn't even want to be a boss. I'm not the boss type of person. So, and they know that. And they take advantage of that. So,
And were
whatever.
there any other people at all? You might have said that. Would that give you any kind of hard time, or is it relatively easy?
No, it's just her.
That's funny.
It's definitely, it's so, it's bad, but it's almost over. And by this time next week, it'll be water on the bridge, under the bridge, because I'll be out of a job temporarily. Um, Zoom's always got stuff going on behind the scenes. So, Zoom, I'm, please hire me.
Okay.
This is a public plea. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, well, great movie, good movie. It was fine. It's fine. I'm really looking forward to next week's movie, though.
Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully you like it as much as at least as much as this one. So okay. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap everything up?
Nope. That's all I got.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. If you'd like to, like I said before, if you'd like to support what we're doing, there's an affiliate link for NordVPN in the description below. If you purchase that, that helps what we're doing. And I believe we're definitely getting like close to 100 clicks per week right now. But only if like one or two
Yes.
people have purchased the service so far. So
Well, be the third or fourth person viewer watching this right now.
yeah, we appreciate that so much. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you next week.